Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel, and once again we are on Train Simulator Classic, and ever trying to play all the routes local to me and the lines local to me so I can have a quick look. We are back on the West Coast main line over Shap, but with a little bit of a difference, because I had a dip onto the Steam workshop, and the Windermere branch from Oxenholme isn't actually a thing in the game, but somebody's modelled that as a free route. You can get it on the Steam workshop, so I've downloaded that, and we're also going to play a scenario which I got from the Steam workshop called the Windermere Stopper. So we're going all the way from Oxenholme to Windermere, and we're in the class 47, as you can look and see there, and on the back we've also got another large logo 47, because when you get to Windermere it's the end of the line, so this 47 would then bring the train back up to Oxenholme and beyond. So let's have a look at what it is telling us. We are picking passengers up from Oxenholme, then we're going to Kendal, Burnside, Staveley and Windermere. Once again, this is another run that I've done many times and quite enjoy it. Not in a 47, I can't say I've ever done it in a 47, but yeah, this is a nice little route, so it's great that somebody's put this in the Steam workshop. Let's get everything set up, shall we? Put that into forwards, leave the brakes on for now. I think that is a 87 going past. Let's just pop out and get the lights on. There we go. We should get the signal once that has cleared the block. There we go. Alright, let's get the brakes off. And let's pull into Oxenholme and pick up our first passengers. Yeah, so I'm new to the game, as you know, so that means I'm also quite new to Steam Workshop, because I haven't been on a PC for years and years and years. I don't even think Steam was a thing the last time I played on PC. So there's a bit of a learning curve for me, but on the Steam Workshop, across all the routes that I've got for TS Classic, I've downloaded quite a few scenarios in there that only require you to have the base route, which is quite nice. And look at that 37. Is that a 37 in green? I think it's 37 in green. Now, I don't own that loco, I don't think, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. I did notice that I did have a UK and European loco asset pack, so I wonder if it's in there. Could be part of that, couldn't it? It's not choosable, not in that livery. It's not choosable, as far as I'm aware. So this is Oxenholme, the Lake District, as it's called. The main line is, so the 87 and the 37 just then. The main line is to the right here. So up here is north. We came down there in the Pendolino. You'll remember last Saturday we were coming north to south from Carlisle, going down to Preston. We're going the opposite way this time. We did mention this little route actually as we came past, so it's great to actually find it. Actually a thing, you know, in the game. It's brilliant. The station's very good. The station is actually really good. It's it does look pretty true to form. This canopy as well, this canopy is very lifelike, and I know that because the last time I went to Windermere by the train, I had to catch the main line service up to here and then walk across the bridge quickly as a mail train thunders through. I had to run across to the other side, catch the train there to go to Windermere. Then coming back, I actually sat around here. It could have even been this bench right here, and this here now is a cafe across there. It's got a toilet block there on the right hand side, but yeah, that's actually a cafe. Oh wow, that's scary. We're now free to depart anyway, so shall we get to it? Take the brakes off. And we do have a 10 coming out of Oxenholme. Kendal is the next stop, which is in just over 2 miles. And Kendal is the home of the famous Kendal mint cake. There's an HST going the other way. Nice. There he goes. He's actually stopping, I think. Got a guy up there on the gantry. I'd like being in this view, as I said in the last video. I keep getting tripped up though with the alarms, the AWS alarms, because there's no audible warning. You just get this this flashing up from the outside, and it keeps tripping me up. If you don't, if you just don't see it, you only get a couple of seconds to react, and if you don't see it, it can trip you up. The other thing as well that I've done, you might notice since the last video, we're sat a little bit closer, and we can speed up now. We're sat a little bit closer. This is more TSW like, isn't it, as far as field of view goes. I think I was experimenting last time with the pacer when we were on our way to Morecambe, but I was sat just a little bit too far back. I wasn't really comfortable with that. Anyway, I've been into the settings and I've been experimenting, and I've got it to where we are now. We can still scroll in and out, you see, to get closer if we need to. But this is about right for me, I think. I don't know how you guys play it. I know a lot of players do favour sitting back. Alright, so we've got a single line. And we've got 4 or 5 stops. And lots of crossings. Let's knock the power off. So yeah, went on the Steam Workshop, looked for the routes that I had, and there's so much stuff on there. I mean, some of these routes now, to be fair, are quite old. I think this West Coast Mainline Over Shap is what, I want to say 2015, but is it? It could even be older than that. It could be older than that. So people have had a chance to really get into it and create some nice stuff, so I'm quite enjoying just discovering a few of those and running them off stream. And I need to make sure we get some good braking in here as we approach Kendal. You see the Lake District mountains there. There did of course used to be much more railway throughout the Lake District. A lot of it fell by the wayside. And I think pretty much now, I think this is it. I think Windermere is the only point of call now in the Lake District itself, and it's a real shame. You think about the number of visitors that go to the Lake District each year, it's a real shame there's no more, there's no stations, there's no other locations. Quite a destination in the Lake District that I quite like personally is Coniston. Coniston used to have a station, but again, I don't know if that was a beaching one actually. I think that got cut by beaching, I might be wrong. But now, everybody's got to go by car and coach, and wouldn't it make a difference if everybody could go by train? Because when you get to Windermere, you're at the top end. If you're travelling down to Lake Windermere, Windermere Station is right at the top end, and you can walk it down to Lake Windermere, but it's a good old walk. I'm gonna guess about 5 miles or more, so it's a decent walk. So there is a bus terminus outside of Windermere Station, so you can go down to, you can go down to Lake Windermere and destinations beyond. You can go on to Ambleside and various other parts of the Lake District. But the last time I went by train and went down to Lake Windermere, a return on the bus from Windermere just down to the lake and back was really expensive. I thought it was really expensive. I mean, it was like it was about 12 quid. A return, 12 quid. And now I don't travel by bus that often, so I don't know if that's the going rate or what. I'm really not sure. But I thought that was a bit steep, but if you're going for a day out, it's doable. And if you get the weather, it is quite a nice walk, because the top end at Windermere has got a few shops, and down the other end where the lake is, that's actually Bowness on Windermere, and again a few shops down there. It's quite a nice place to visit, and it's quite popular because it's the southern tip of the Lake District. So if you're coming from the south, your first sight of the Lake District is pretty much Windermere. Certainly the first lake that you would get to is Lake Windermere. And that's where I think, you see, that if there was more railway, people would explore the Lake District a lot more. They'd travel a bit further, because Windermere does get very, very busy, and I can only assume that it's because of that. It's because it's the southern end. But there are some quite nice boat trips from Windermere, and I'll put a little link up now in the top right hand corner to a trip that I took last August, actually, on Lake Windermere. So if you are in the area and you're thinking of paying a visit, I can recommend it. I can recommend the whole Lake District, to be honest. And as a kid, for me, living in Preston, if we're driving it, it probably takes 35-40 minutes for me to drive to this point of the Lake District, so it's not far at all. And we used to have many holidays as kids in the Lake District, so it's an area of the UK I know quite well. Right, let's take some power off. Big factory there, over to the right hand side. This is Burnside. And we've got semaphore signalling here, of course. And a road crossing, which we will just give a quick toot to. Now we do have 5 miles per hour coming out of this station as well, so we'll need to make sure that we observe that and go carefully. See what I mean about the crossings? Lots and lots of crossings. We've got speedboats there. A lot of people hire speedboats, of course. I think Windermere is one of the longest lakes, and you can hire boats as well as go for little pleasure cruises on the bigger ones. You can hire boats as well. But I think they banned speedboats going over a certain speed due to a few accidents that they had over recent years. You used to see people tearing about quite a bit, Not so much these days. Shall we go and have a look down here? I'm getting used to these keys now for this flying around. There's the factory. It's a set of chimneys with a few factory buildings there. But here's the speedboats. Looks like they manufacture them at this place. There's our 47 ready for the return journey. This scenario just takes you the one way to Windermere. I didn't find another one going back the other way. That's not to say that there isn't one. There could be. So you have to download the route itself, and there's the warning about the 5 miles per hour. Download the route itself, and then get the scenario as well. This scenario is called Windermere Stopper, just in case you fancy looking it up. And if you do download the route and the scenario, don't forget on Steam Workshop to give it a thumbs up as well if you enjoy it. That's good feedback for the creators. So this is a slow one. I imagine the people that live in this house here get a bit fed up. But at the same time, I suppose you get used to it, don't you? I think you have to be a railway enthusiast to actually live there. I wonder if that house originally had something to do with the gates here. Are there any gates actually? I don't even know if there are any gates. There's no gates, that's dangerous. I wonder if that's real, or if that's why it's 5 miles per hour. That's quite a nice screenshot, isn't it? Let's get that one. That might be why it's 5 miles per hour. You know, there may not be any gates. But I was going to say, you know, are the occupants of this house, you know, former crossing gatekeepers, perhaps? Not sure. So there's a 60 board, but of course we have to wait until the back of the train passes that board. Now, unlike TSW, where you've really got to wait for the hood to change so you know when the train has passed, I said it in the live stream last weekend, I do find it quite handy down the bottom here. You can see where the 60 board currently is against your train, and then you can see when the back of the train is going to reach the 60 board. I find that really handy, you know. And if you plan to go hoodless at any point, then you know you could spend some time route learning, couldn't you, and then turn the hood off. And this is good information whilst you're doing that. And we're nearly at that 60 board, so let's just take a look behind us. It's just coming across the final point now. It's coming across the crossing there, and we will be going on to Staveley in 2.4 miles. Anytime now. There we go. So let's put some power in. As we leave Burnside behind us. And of course, there's so many different routes. There's so much, you know, freeware, some clever stuff that people have created. And you know, as a new player, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm thinking, oh, I really want that. There is I've mentioned it, I think, in the live stream again last week. There is the Cornforth to Barrow Cumbrian coastline route, which has been created, and you're able to download that free, and it's very good of them to do that. Honestly, it is. But I had a quick look at the requirements, and it makes your eyes water. You know, I think if you've been playing this since it was first released, you've probably built up a lot of the requirements anyway, just naturally. But as a new player coming in, what, 10 years or more later, you're quite a way behind it. And that particular route that I was looking at, it requires several of the DTG routes, but it also requires, you know, subscriptions to a couple of different websites, paid subscriptions, at least one paid subscription, because the route has been made from assets that are not just in the base routes that you can get, and then you look for one of the routes you get under subscription, and even that has got requirements. So you seem to be, you know, in some cases you're in a never-ending list of requirements to run what you want. So I guess I'm going to have to be patient. I do want that one though, up to Barrow. I really like the look of that. I did watch the Just Trains, I think it was. I did watch their videos on that. They're the guys that have created it, and I watched them and I thought, oh, this is great. You know, it's like this Windermere branch. It's a route that I know quite well just from travelling on it, and I'm just going to have to be patient. I'm going to have to try to get all the requirements over the next, you know, sort of 6 to 12 months. If I tried to do it now, it would cost me an absolute arm and a leg, you know, to do it. But I'll get there eventually. Okay, we've got a crossing that this time does have gates, and we're just over half a mile away from Staveley. Put a little bit of power in. So if you guys have got any add-on routes like this branch line, where all you need is a base route. So this one, the only requirement, as I said right at the beginning, the only requirement is that you own the West Coast Mainline Over Shap route, and then you can download this one. So if there are any other routes that you know of that just require the base DTG route, if you could drop that in the comments, I'll go and search for those on the Steam Workshop, because I'm really interested in those. And I'm talking about the UK stuff, because at the moment I'm just building up everything I've got in the UK, if possible. So if you do have some favourites there, then do pop them in the comments and I'll go and take a look. Right, hopefully we can get stopped here at Staveley, because while I was talking, we were coming in hot. I think we're going to be alright. We just need to get to the S-board. I think it's going to be fine, look. Let's have a look outside. That'll do us, that'll do us. Let's get the doors open. I'm also getting used to the keys as well. Some of the shortcuts, like T for opening the doors, Q for acknowledging the AWS, etc., and the camera views, etc. Now I know that sounds stupid to some of you players that have been playing this for quite a long time, and you probably can't remember back to the days when, you know, you had to first learn it and you had to find out how things are done. But it's starting to come into muscle memory now the more I play it. So at first I thought, oh, I'm never going to pick this up. I'm not even used to playing on a keyboard and mouse. In TSW for years and years I've had a controller in my hand that has everything there on the controller, and I can just sit back. Of course this is a little bit different, but you know, you get there, you do get there, and I've not been playing it that long, so it shows that it does work. So Windermere is the next stop, and it's also the final stop. It's only a short one, this. We'll have a quick talk about Windermere once we get there, because Windermere isn't modelled exactly how it is right now in present day, but it's recognisable as Windermere. If you showed me a picture of this and I didn't know, and you asked me, you know, it is somewhere you know, where is it, I would have been able to tell you that it's Windermere. There's some bits of bridges missing there. I don't know why that's a thing. Anyway, yeah, so once we get to Windermere, right on the opposite side of the buffers, there's in real life there's a massive supermarket, a Booths supermarket. That's been there a very long time actually. Although I noticed recently, you know, it's been modernised in recent years, but that building is there. Then over to the right as we approach, as we come in, there is the aforementioned bus terminus that I talked about, but also there is a big Lakeland shop. I don't know if you're familiar with Lakeland. They do all kind of household goods, and you know, I'm not trying to advertise them. I was just trying to tell you what's in the car park. And there is actually a car park on the left hand side as well, which is true, which I think is the car park for Booths actually. So, you know, as I said, it is recognisable, but it's a little bit different to the real life Windermere that people will know. So we have got just under 2.5 miles now to get to Windermere. We'll put some power in because we are going uphill at this point. The 47 is a classic, isn't it? It's quite versatile, it runs on lots of routes, both in Train Simulator Classic and in Train Sim World. We've used it quite a bit in Train Sim World. And I love the horn. Love it. Right, we're coming to the top of the hill. Actually, you know, the scale of the map at the bottom is zoomed right out, so it's going to take us a while to get to the top of the hill. And then we're straight the way down, as you can see. And as we get to the platform at Windermere, we drop down to a 15 miles per hour. And you don't want to go any faster than that, you will be through the buffers and into the Booths. The Booths Cafe is station side of Booths, so you will end up spilling a few people's cups of tea if you go ramming through there, as well as some other, you know, probably quite serious matters that you could cause as well at the same time. But it's just a very small station with a little tiny waiting room and booking office. You know, considering the amount of people it probably ferries in and out, it's quite small. But we'll take a look. I'll take the power off. This bridge pretty much marks the top of the hill. So we'll put some brake in as we drop down. Okay, we're doing alright, 22 miles per hour. Ease off the brakes just slightly. So yeah, this is a little gem for me, this one. It really is. Like when I found the Morecambe branch the other day, I quite enjoyed running the Morecambe branch. And I also, as part of that, after that off stream, I also went from Morecambe to Heysham power plant as well. That was quite nice. And I did pick up the Class 24 DLC. So I did a quick drive with the Class 24 and some wagons from Morecambe up to Heysham. That was nice. And these are all little bits of routes that, you know, I've wished for in TSW for so long, and I've caved in and gone to TS Classic so I can play a few of these. Certainly the West Coast Main Line over Shap is the route that I mention every single year on the Dovetail survey. When the survey comes out, what one route would you like in TSW if you could? And I always, since those surveys have been a thing, I've put the West Coast Main Line over Shap. And that's without playing it. That's watching a lot of people play it and just thinking, ooh, you know, I'd love a go on that. And, you know, here we are. And I'm really enjoying it. If you've got a PC or a laptop and you've not played this, and it's, yeah, I think the requirements to play this are fairly decent. You don't need a decent spec PC or laptop. Then give it a go. There's always a sale on Steam. You know, it seems you can get things quite cheap if you want to build up your collection. I'd say give it a go if you're a bit of a train fan, and especially if you've been playing TSW. Why not give it a go? It's good fun. So this is Windermere. See the buffers coming up ahead. There's the bus terminal. That's in there. But yeah, we've got a big lakeland over here. The station building's alright. That looks pretty accurate. And you've got this coming down here as well in real life. But there is a massive booths there. There's no shed like that. It's a massive booths. But you know, it is recognisable, as I said. So, you know, I'll take it. I'm quite happy with that. And this is Windermere. So we'll get the doors open and we'll do one final loading. And let's have a quick look outside at Windermere. That's nice. We've got flowers in the window, look. It's actually a little bit more modern now than this. I think they've modernised the building somewhat, but still a good effort. Great work, driver. You've now made it to your final destination. Another driver will now take over for the 13:15 service back to Oxenholme. Your shift for this afternoon is over. Time for a well-earned cuppa. Scenario complete. And you know what? I'm going to do just that. I'm going to go and get a cuppa. I've really enjoyed that. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. Thanks again for watching. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.